Hello everybody and happy Halloween. Today we're looking at a special item here of the 4 Horsemen Headless Horseman figure. So this is a really cool figure, and as soon as I saw this I was like, oh my god, I have to have this figure, because ever since I was a kid and watching Sleepy Hollow I've been obsessed with the Headless Horseman. So seeing a figure of the Headless Horseman and one that looks this cool, I just knew I had to have it. So this was a special figure they released. Of course it's been like a limited time, I think it's sold out and everything, but it's a pretty expensive figure. But usually with the 4 Horsemen and Mythic Legions figures, they're pretty expensive just figures by themselves. Well, this one also comes with a cool horse and just looks awesome. So first we have this box design. So of course there's a picture of the Headless Horseman with his pumpkin head, and just looks really cool. Nice, awesome designs, very spooky looking. But it has this cover on the front that we can sort of pop off. It just magnetized on the front, but we have stuff. So there's the logo, the Figura Obscura or whatever it's called there, and then the Headless Horseman with a little bit of story there of the Headless Horseman. So that's cool. And if we spin this around, we also have a picture of, like, you know, Sleepy Hollow, the village there, and there's some fires in, you know, the church and all sorts of spooky looking stuff, some eyes in the tree. So you can use that sort of as like a background display as well, which I think is pretty cool. So set this up and put the horseman in front of it. So that's a cool thing. Like I said, all magnetized, that magnetizes to the box. But then we have the box itself with our figure. So there's the Headless Horseman, again with his pumpkin head, and we get an additional pumpkin head with some flames coming out, all sorts of accessories of hands and sword. And then we also get his horse that looks really cool. It's got nice red eyes and stuff in there. So we get a horse figure as well, which we haven't really seen too many horse figures. We've had like the DC Multiverse version and stuff, but this one just looks really cool. So we'll spin the box around here. Of course, more of that design artwork all around the box. And there's a nice picture of the Headless Horseman there, artwork of him on the horse in a graveyard. So just looks really cool. This is just an awesome looking figure. So I'm really excited to check this out and get to check out the horse as well as the figure itself and all his accessories. So this just looks super cool. So I'm excited to check it out. So let me get open a box. We'll take a look at it together. So now that the Headless Horseman and horse are out of the box, let's go and start with just looking at the Headless Horseman himself. So overall the figure looks really cool. This is a nice, awesome design for a Headless Horseman, you know, mostly just in the all black, but he has some nice details of like armor and stuff and the silver, so silver details running all through it. And then I like the additional features of like the purple, which I thought in the pictures from the solicitation, the purple would be much more brighter and like pop much more. So he's got the purple like scarf there around his neck, as well as the pockets here on his belt, but it's a much more darker, subdued purple. So I wish it like popped a little bit more, because that's like my biggest issue with this. When I saw the picture of this, I was like, oh my god, I love the Headless Horseman. I gotta have this figure. I think it looks so cool. But when getting it in real life, I was kind of disappointed just by the colors, because like I said, everything seems much more subdued. Like the oranges of like the pumpkin and stuff seem much darker, the purple and everything, and then like some of the additional colors on the horse and stuff aren't nearly as bright. But I still think overall it is a really cool figure. The actual figure design is pretty cool, and just the overall like look and stuff, and carries out the look of a Headless Horseman really well. So overall he's got that like knight design, like I said, so with the all black like leather and stuff, leather gloves, leather boots, the knight's armor there up on his legs, and then the tunic covering over him. It even looks like it got supposed to have some like metal design into it, but it's got some nice like silver like studs all the way out through it, belt around the waist with a nice logo design, some pockets and some extra holders and stuff all going around there. And then the pumpkin up on his head, so of course where he's missing his head, it now has the pumpkin head. So as the pumpkin with like what I assume to be the flames and stuff inside, so like the head is on fire, but a nice overall pumpkin design with the stem up on top and stuff. Everything about it just looks really cool with that high color piece that fits perfectly for the Headless Horseman. So a lot of coolness to the design of this. Like I said, I just wish the colors were a little bit brighter, but we can do the movements. So the pumpkin can twist around, so it can twist all the way around there, and of course we'll see the joints coming up. So twist around and then look down that far and up that far, so it's on just like a dumbbell joint up in there, but pretty good movements just for the pumpkin. The shoulders can come up to 90 there and rotate all the way around. We get the single elbow joint that bends to 90 with rotation, and the wrist can twist around and flex back and forth. Then we get the ab crunch, so right in the middle there, so we have the ab crunch back and forth. It's mostly at the waist and can twist around. We get the hips that can come up pretty close to 90 out to the side there. Just some issues with the tunic in the way, but it is sort of separated, so it does get out of the way, but can come out that far, so not far from doing the splits. It does have a thigh twist up in here, so it can twist pretty much all the way around. Nice, smooth, easy movements. The knee joint can bend up that far, so to 90 there, and there is some rotation in there as well. Then we get the foot that flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So overall it's got pretty good joints. You know, I've never dealt with Mythic Legion figures before. We've had some, I just never personally dealt with them, and overall I was surprised at the nice, smooth, easy movements, not a figure that we had to heat up or anything, so it overall worked out pretty well. Now the Headless Horseman does come with a lot of accessories himself. So he's got the pumpkin head there that we can take out, and I'll show you different accessories and we'll switch it out and stuff. But he comes with an additional pumpkin head where it's got the flames, you know, coming out of the eye, so it's got this nice see-through like flame effect, and then this giant flame on the back with yellow at the bottom going into the red, and it's a big huge flame effect that looks pretty cool. And of course we can switch this head out. It'd be awesome if the flame would like light up and stuff and all the eyes and parts, but no batteries or anything here, so it doesn't light up unfortunately, but I thought that'd be cool. But let's see if we can get this head switched out. So there is the ball joint that the neck sits on, so it's just this big ball joint there, and we'll go ahead and pop this head on. So there it is with a flaming pumpkin that I think looks pretty cool, and of course still fits on the body. Doesn't have issues standing up, even with all the additional like weight and everything on it, still stands up pretty easily, so that looks pretty awesome. Or of course it is the headless horseman, so we can just remove the head altogether. And to do this we then have to remove the peg piece here, so this pulls out, which was pretty difficult, and it looks like there was maybe some paint or stuff in there kind of holding it in, but I finally got it out. So there you can now have the headless horseman. But if you want to add some more design into it, we also get this additional piece which looks like a piece of ham or something, but we can take this and pop this down inside there, so now it looks like his head has been cut off. So there it adds some more like details and like some anatomy and stuff in there, so that looks pretty cool. So there we have the headless horseman that is now headless, and that looks pretty cool and looks pretty menacing and everything there, so that is awesome. We also get a cape with this figure, so we have this big awesome like cape design that is black on the inside, red on the outside, so I think that's pretty cool. There's not a whole lot to it, so it just has this like chain piece with the little clamps here in the center, so all we have to do is just really sort of get this slid onto him, but there's not much that really holds it on. So you can slide on the front there, and then I try to get slid under here to help hold it, so that sort of holds it on a little bit better. And then of course the cape does have some wire in it, so there's some wire in here, so you can just sort of bend it out wherever you want. It goes all the way around the edge, so it's in the front here, it's in the back like underneath piece here, so you can just sort of get it wherever you want. And of course it was in the box and all folded up, so it has some bends into it and stuff, and of course it's a big cape, so it's really big if you can see the size there. So it's really big and hard to like get to sit in the right places and function exactly how you want it. So that's a little bit annoying, but you have to just sort of mess around with it to get it wherever you want. So there's the headless horseman there with the cape. Like I said, it's hard to figure out what to do with the cape and get it to work around. He comes with a lot of hand accessories. So first we get a set of grip hands, so we have a grip for the left and the right if you want to have those. He just comes with two sort of hands. He does have a grip hand on already, and then more of like an open like claw hand. We get an additional claw hand for the opposite hand, so if you want to have that. And then we also get an additional hand that can hold the pumpkin head, so we have the ball joint here that we can just take and like pop one of the pumpkin heads on if we want, so he can be holding the pumpkin head. And since he's got the missing head, I always like that, so let's try and switch his head out for this. So there he is holding the pumpkin head, so you can just have that in his hand there, so there it's like he's got his pumpkin head. And like the headless horseman is known for like throwing the pumpkin and stuff, so he can have that ready to throw, or you can maybe try and put it up in his hand. Of course you have to try and get it readjusted, the pumpkin twisted around and stuff to get in whatever position you want like that. And then he also comes with a sword for his weapon, so of course as I mentioned he has a grip hand, so you can put the sword in his hand. And it's a pretty nice looking sword, just overall the design, you know, does look like a very nice sword that would fit with the headless horseman stuff. So let's put this into his hand, and he already does have this grip hand on, so let's just slide it in there. So there is the headless horseman with the pumpkin in hand and his sword, so he's ready to chop off some heads. Pretty cool. The only issue with like this hand with the pumpkin is that it gets really easily to like flop around and stuff, especially if you put this head, because that's what I tried earlier and he just kept flopping around a lot. So it's easier with the smaller pumpkin head, but still quite annoying. So like I said, another issue with the figure is that it looks pretty cool and has a lot of like features like holding the head, but it just, the wrists are a little too weak and it just kind of twists around there and falls down, but still looks really cool there all together with all those accessories. Like I said, you get the additional hands, so you can switch and put the sword in different hands. You can put the pumpkin on or off, but since it's the headless horseman, I like him being headless, but I still think that all looks really cool. But of course we also get the horse with this set, so let's take a look at the horse. So we get the headless horseman's trusty steed, and this thing looks really cool. So it's a Mythic Legion horse, so they're quite good figures. I was quite surprised with this, but I know they've released stuff like they've had like a moose and everything and all sorts of other horses, and I've heard nothing but good things about them. And this horse is pretty good. Has some issues standing with like feet wise, but still stands up, so no real issues there. And overall it looks like a really cool, nice horse design. So you can see he's got the bright red eyes, the mouth is open, sort of like ready to chomp and stuff. Got some big teeth there. It looks kind of crazy, but I like the mouth open with the nose design. They got really good details in there. Of course, all the horse designs with like the fur and everything, the nice bridle, and it goes on it, you know, all the straps and stuff going around to be able to ride the horse. Nice mane design. The ears are sticking up and everything, all in black, but the mane has like a brown color to it. It's still dark, but in real life you can notice it much more that it's a brown color compared to the all black horse. Nice details all over the straps with the silver buckles and details and design. Has like a purplish color, but again it's a darker purple, even darker than the purple that was on the headless horseman, but it's got like a purplish sort of matte there with the saddle sitting up on top of it, but nice black leather designs with some brown straps and stuff going into it. Nice like little bedroll there on the back. It's got some brown fur there down on his feet, so it's kind of like a Belgian horse with the hairy feet. 3-tone with the furry feet, and then some red on the hooves as well. So it's got nice red hooves there. So it's a horse from hell. So looks pretty cool. And the nice brown fur tail there as well. So a lot of nice details and designs going into this horse. So this horse included definitely makes it worth the price, because there's so much details and designs into this horse, and it's big hefty figure. And from what I've already messed around with, it has pretty decent movement stuff. So it definitely helps fill out that price. So it's not like you're getting ripped off or anything, but just overall nice, beautiful figure. But we can do the movements of the horse. So the head can move back and forth. So it can like look down that far and up that far. The only issue is running in with the hair. I don't know if you can kind of like push down to get the head to move, but it just moves back and forth there. So pretty nice. And there's some like nice twisting side to side. So you can sort of get just some better movements in there. And then we have the horse neck itself. So we have some movements like down at the neck section here that can move up and down and can twist a little side to side there. So again, it's a little bit stiff, so not the easiest, but as soon as you more moving around stuff, you get more movements in there. We then got the front legs. So we have the front legs there. You can see the joints just right there. So the legs can move forward and move back. So back and forth there. And there is some twisting at all these joints, so it can twist around. Same with the knee. So we get the like knee joint there that can bend back pretty much to 90 degrees and forward and has the twisting. And then we also have the ankle. So the ankle there in the front is pretty stiff, so it is hard to move some of these, but you can sort of bend it at an angle there and bend it back. And again, there is some twisting in there, so you can move all these and adjust them to help get it to stand up. We then go to the back. So we have the big back legs, so the big haunches there, so it can move back and forth, so really far back there, so you can maybe do a nice kick, and then has some movement back and forth, so in and out there. Then we have the additional joint here that can move. It's pretty stiff, but you can get it to move back and forth. There's some twisting in it. We get the like knee joint there then, so it can bend back and forth with the twisting. And then same with hoof beef. It's hard to get a hold of this horse to hold it. Can flex back and forth and has some twists side to side as well. So again, nice, a lot of joints and stuff to be able to move around to get this horse to stand up. And as I said, it doesn't really have too many issues standing up. Just kind of place it and may have to adjust the hoofs a little bit to get it to stand, but not too bad at all. And then we finally have the tail, so it can move back and forth there and can twist side to side. So you have a lot of movements with this horse that you can try and get in poses. It'd be cool to do like a pose like the horse was like reared up and stuff, but I don't think he'd be able to stand without some additional stands or something to help hold him up or anything, but that would be pretty cool. But overall, a pretty nice horse here just overall. So it's just a really nice design, has a lot of nice features and details all about it, and really good like functionality overall. And like I said, doesn't really have too many issues standing. It's not perfect, but you have to just sort of mess around with all the joints and stuff to get to the stand pretty flat. But with 4 legs, it's, you know, pretty stable and stuff, so not really just gonna fall over on you or anything. Now that we have the horse, we can try and put the headless horseman on it, and getting the headless horseman on is pretty easy. So with his hips, the legs spread wide, and then having those twists, they can easily sort of twist around and fit nicely on the saddle, and then the legs can bend back forward, and you can pretty easily get his feet into the stirrups here. So you just take and then just slide his feet right in. So overall, he fits in and sits in the saddle really nice. So there's the headless horseman up on the horse now, and like I said, it was pretty easy to get him in there. Don't feel like he's gonna fall off. You can sort of move it around and stuff, and he's not gonna fall off that very easily. And like I said, he sits in there pretty nice, pretty nice and easy with the saddle, like we did the McFarlane figures in the past that came with the horse, and the figure was barely set on the horse and everything, and it was pretty annoying. But he sits up there pretty easily, and no real major issues or anything. Just overall, it works out pretty well. The only issue I'm having is trying to get this horse to stand up perfectly. So like I said, it's not like the best or greatest figure ever, but it is pretty dang close. Like I said, the actual headless horseman I wish could be a little bit better with some better coloring and stuff, especially maybe a different cape design, because the cape is just way too big. As I say, every time we usually get actual fabric capes and stuff, they're always way too big than what they should be. But the actual figure is pretty dang good. Like I said, just the only issue is that wrist is how it keeps flopping around and stuff if you try and put the pumpkin in there. So we have that issue. And then the horse, like I said, just trying to get it to stand perfectly is pretty easy. Like his legs keep getting all twisted around and stuff here, and that's pretty annoying. But he's still standing, just his legs are all twisted. And then I forgot to show, the horse does also come with an additional mane. So we get a mane with the hair all flowing, so it'd be like he's riding and stuff, so his mane's blowing in the wind and everything. So you can switch that out as well if you want, but I'll just probably leave the flat mane on there for now. And overall, that's our headless horseman figure from the 4 Horsemen Mythic Legion. Headless horseman figure is pretty dang cool. So this was an awesome figure to come out, you know, something I wasn't expecting, but once I saw, I was like, oh my god, this thing is so cool, I have to have it. And like I said, in my obsession since I was a kid with the headless horseman, I just knew I had to have this figure. Heck, I was even a headless horseman for Halloween one year when I was a kid and won a costume contest from it. So I have a lot of connections with the headless horseman. So seeing a figure of it that looked this cool, I knew I had to have it. And an awesome figure to go along just in time for Halloween. So what an awesome figure to have here. So let me know what you thought of this figure down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.